All right, all right. We are back at the podcast today. We have a special guest. We're in our Belmar studio today. We have Devin Reilly from Flipping Keys. Welcome, my man.
Thank you very much for having me. And you say special, use that very loosely. Please.
Very loosely.
I mean, like special needs, that might be me, but I'm not that special.
You're an interesting story.
Definitely.
So, bad guy to good, doing great things now. And when I read your story, when you submitted it on our website, I was like, I want to talk to you. And since I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, and we're gonna close in the early days of your life and focus on today's, because I think that's really where your grit and hustle and good stuff is happening. So you've been a salesman among salesmen for your whole life.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
From the time you were selling pies at school.
Yeah, I started in grade school. I'd go to the bakery. I'd buy day-old pies for $1. I'd get 8 slices and sell them for $1 a piece at school. Next
so you had
day,
8-to-1 return on
day-old listen, great money. Yeah, you know.
and the bakery was loving life.
Listen, they love me. The teacher loved me. I always, every now and again, I had to give the teacher a piece just so she'd leave me alone and get my $1.
That was big.
Yeah, I was paying the tax. You got to do it. You know what I mean? So it started back then with that, and there's different in school. I would baseball cards.
Yep, sure.
You name it. If we could, we did it. Yeah.
And now, then you had somebody, a mentor in your life, your grandfather. It sounded like.
Yeah, my grandfather, he would pick me up from grade school and take me to work with him.
Yep.
For the last couple hours work. So he owned the ice plant. It was an ice and fuel. They sold ice in the summer to all the farmers before they, all the automated stuff came out. And they also sold fuel oil in the winter. Mm-hmm. So they kept the whole company going all year round.
So he was a hustler too.
He was a hustler too. And he made me work when I wasn't 10 years old. I was already working on the platform.
And you had some ideas of the ice that would have expanded.
Yeah. CL Ice, which is a huge company now.
Down in South Jersey, yeah.
We sold their ice to them when they started the company. So Joe Romano started it.
Uh-huh.
My grandfather was selling the ice to put in the bags.
Yep.
They went automated.
Yep. Which you wanted.
Which I wanted to do, but my uncle was a little, old school,
yeah.
And my grandfather's first child, it just never got there. Yep.
That stinks because you had the idea, but listen, in a way, it's almost better that didn't happen.
Oh, 100%.
Because you would have been in the ice business right
today.
Now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. You wouldn't be flipping houses. You wouldn't be doing all the things you did. So then you took your entrepreneurial spirit to the dark side a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an opportunity, and just let me put it out there first. I hate drugs. Mm-hmm. I've never done anything. I never did a drug until they allowed me to get a medical marijuana card, and I only do edibles at night if to go to sleep. So I don't even like drugs. I hate drugs. I always have, but it was a money thing.
It was a mark. You saw a mark.
I saw them. So that's where that was my focus. Kind of, it was a business more than like I didn't do it to support a habit or things like that.
In a way, that probably made you even more successful than most drug dealers.
Listen, if there's something on the table, I was putting it together and selling it for $10 instead of smoking it.
Yeah, perfect.
100%. Yeah.
So you get into drugs, then you get into the book, which I think is a hand-in-hand business with
it
that.
Is. Booking was I hated drugs, but I loved book. I mean, Atlantic City wasn't built on losers.
Yeah.
The house always wins. I like to win.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and I saw gambling, in my opinion, is worse than drugs for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I mean, just in general, gambling, it's a terrible addiction, but it ruins families more than drugs because, they have seems like people have a lot more compassion for the drug addicts rather than gambler, and the gamblers hide it. They don't want their wife and their family to know.
Yeah.
And instead of violence and collection, hey, listen, if you don't pay, I'm going to call your house. I'm going to ask your wife for the money and tell her you've been gambling. And that's
got to be an awkward conversation.
I love it.
To come home with for.
Oh yeah, what'd you call my wife for? Hey, listen, you're supposed to pay me Thursday. It's now the following Thursday. Maybe she can get it for me, because violence doesn't do anything.
No.
If you need to do it, it's always there.
But the violence, realistically, if you hurt somebody, then they can't work,
and they're not going to pay you.
They're not going to pay you.
No.
So although the threat of violence is tough, and you want to do that,
old school was better than now.
Yeah.
Now it's you can't hurt them. Like you said, you embarrass them. I'd write a letter to your boss and things like that. Like I go into the mental part of it rather than.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, there's something wrong with it.
You're nuts. Let me just put it right. I'll put it right on the table. This guy is nuts.
Yeah, there's
but
definitely.
I also like the way that you operate because you're thinking about
everything's
it from a
thought
strategic
through.
plan.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So Don't gamble. Do not call him.
Yeah, no, listen, everything's online now, and that's the thing. It makes a difference now with because we would give credit lines.
Yeah.
Now, if you do DraftKings and things like that, you can't get credit lines. So I believe that even though how they say that the online is making it's not if they really understood gambling and bookmaking, because you can't get in $20,000 debt on DraftKings. You don't have it.
Yeah.
With me, you could.
Yeah.
And now you got to figure out how to pay me, and I'm taking your truck.
Yeah.
And you're selling that. So even though people don't like it, I think online gambling is a really good thing.
Ultimately, it's probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you spend some time away.
I did 5 years in prison, in state prison. Mm-hmm.
And that was probably a learning of things you never want to do again.
Though it's anybody says prison's fun, they lie. It sucks. Every day sucks. I mean, it's terrible. It's disgusting. It's dirty. There are absolutely good guys in there, but there's a lot of really bad guys too. And just the way the whole state runs everything is just you're just like cattle in there. They take everything from you. Everything. Yeah.
From some of the podcasts I listened to about you ahead of this conversation is you're a man of your word though. You never ratted anybody out. And you took it. You knew you did wrong. You took the
accountability.
Yeah.
And people don't have that now, and that's what I fight with more people. Just be accountable.
Yep.
No matter who you are. If you messed up, say it. I do house deals, and if I can't get a payoff in time, or I can't get something done for the inspection report, I give money back to say, listen, I messed up. You take $500 and give me another week.
Yep.
When it goes the other way around, like no, accountability. Let's just be accountable for what we have to do.
So, I mean, that's really stand-up because a lot of guys would throw everybody. I mean, it sounded like your partner, Rossetti,
my right-hand man told on everybody.
They put you guys all out to dry.
He spent, and it's this is the thing, like, I'm so open about it. Like, my sentencing things are all online.
Yeah.
So you can see this Rossetti kid, if he would have kept his mouth shut, we would have walked. At the end of the day, it's almost good that he didn't, because I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd probably be dead.
Yeah.
So I appreciate him for that part, but I don't appreciate, listen, be a man. I didn't make you do anything you didn't want to do. And that's what I'm like, if you choose to do it, you eat that.
Yep.
It's not anybody else's fault what you do.
I'm assuming you don't talk to Rossetti anymore?
No, I bought the houses next to him and 2 across the street. So that every time he walks out, he sees one of my houses, just so he knows. That's petty. That's like the epitome of petty.
You're a little cruel too.
Oh yeah, don't listen. If you leave me alone,
Rossetti
you're good.
still lives in your neighborhood?
He lives in Millville. He lives in a half double downtown. So I bought the house next to him, 2 next to him, and 1 and across the street.
Yep.
And so he sees my signs every time he walks outside. He sees one of my signs out front.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the epitome of petty, but it's just like go get it, my man.
Yep, fair. And now let's talk about all the great stuff you're doing.
Okay.
So you get out. How old are you when you get out?
So I get out. I get out in 2010.
Okay. So you've been out 14 years now.
14 years,
okay.
yeah. So I get out in 2010. In 2010, 36.
Okay.
And Michelle, I worked for Michelle when I got in trouble. She owns a real estate place. And I got in trouble.
Shout out to Michelle.
Michelle. And when it all went down, she got in trouble too. She was living in one of my houses, even though she was totally like, she's the most innocent person you ever meet, And so, but I was in the real estate game at that time. So I come home and I actually called Michelle from the halfway house because I had no contact. So when I got in trouble, I had 35 co-defendants. They gave me a no contact with any of my co-defendants. Well, they made Michelle a co-defendant only because they thought she knew more about me or what I did, and she really didn't. But I just, because we talked 100 times a day. Yeah. So I came home, I called her from the halfway house, and I was like, listen, I need back then it was those Apple, the music, played music.
iPod.
I need an iPod. I'm calling her, right? Okay. And she's like, all right. I said, are you ready to get married? Like I'm just breaking balls. And I was like, well, we can get married if you buy me an iPad. Like, I'm just, well, God, 15 years later, I was with her for 15 years. I never got married, but that iPad cost me 15 years with Michelle. She's just a good girl. So, we laugh all the time. Like, I met Michelle through a bet. So I was in the barbershop. She owns an office, and there's a barbershop on the end. And everybody's like, yeah, Michelle. Nobody can get Michelle. I was like, what? Oh, I'll get her. Here, it took a year to get her to go out. Then we go out after a year, and then she didn't call me for a couple weeks. I walk in, I was like, yo, well, I know who all your exes are. Like, I'm not them. What do
Yeah.
you should be calling me. She's like, do you think I was going to call you? I knew you'd come back. I'm like, oh. Well, she set it off from there. So that's our relationship since then. Since that
Michelle got herself into trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
She
knew.
should have just said.
She tells me all the time, yeah, I sold my soul to the devil years and years ago. Yeah, so
She didn't know what she was getting into.
No, she definitely didn't.
That's pretty funny. So now Michelle owns a real estate company. Now you come back from this halfway house, you get your iPod.
So I get the iPod in the halfway house. I come home. I get out in 5 years in a day. So I had a 20-year sentence with a 5-year stip.
Mm-hmm.
I come home and
So you good behavior, huh?
yeah, I know how to. I know what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
You know, I was when I went to parole, the only thing I was worried about was I had a meeting with a psychologist, and she said, "What are you going to do when you come out?" And I said, "Well, I want to go back into selling houses and that kind of thing because I enjoy it." I said, "I like making the deal."
Those words are a little bit
As soon as I said that, and everything I think about is I think about
very
first.
calculated.
Right. And I said, as soon as I said, like, damn it, did I say the wrong thing? Because she's going to think I want to make drug deals.
Yeah.
Well, I still get excited over 100 doors I have when I sign a $1,500 lease. Like, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's just that point
So
of.
for you, it's the hustle.
It's the
game.
hustle. That's it. Yep.
So really, what you were doing had no impact really on what. You like the game. You like the hustle. You like all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You don't really care about what you were selling. You just were selling the wrong. At that point in time, you were selling the wrong product.
Exactly.
But you also had a market for it, and that's where it came into play.
I mean, I had the Philadelphia connection to South Jersey for a little hillbilly town to the city. I had it.
Yeah,
so
you had it all.
It was the perfect storm, kind of, to have it.
So you come out now, Michelle, and Michelle's ready to let you sell back at the.
No, so
No.
So Michelle, she's so innocent, she's so nice. But I come in, I was like, I want to get back in real estate. So
like,
we pay
she's running.
Yeah, but she's got my back, so she's super loyal. She's like, okay. So we go through the real estate commission. I retake the test. I do all this. They want like $15,000. I'm paying the investigators and doing me cash so I can get my real estate license back. He retires, takes my cash, and I never get my real estate license back. But that's okay because now I'm going to figure it out. So I still had the connection with Michelle, and that's when I was probably home maybe a year. I bought my first house to flip since I've been home, and it just went from there.
Yeah.
And she had my back the whole way.
So now you're really just flipping. You're not a real estate broker.
No, I'm not an agent. No, I'm just flipping. I'm in the office every day, but I'm also getting, at that time in 2011, the houses, the foreclosures were starting to come through from the 2007-8 time.
Boom.
And, it took 3-4 years. So the first house I flipped when I came home, the guy hadn't made a payment in 4.5 years. Never made one payment on the house, but he was just staying there.
Yeah.
And I came home, I might have made, I don't know, 50 or 60,000 that, on that deal.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. And I turned it right into a rental.
Yep.
Because when I first was studying the game of the real estate thing, they're like, you need income and passive income and this and that. And it makes sense for some people. But at the end of the day, if I can flip 10 houses and make $600,000 that year, $700,000, just say average, you're not making out rental income with $600,000 purchase.
No.
But people don't quite understand that part. Like, I'm a numbers guy. So, right now I'm going through a thing where I'm selling a lot of my rentals and I'm making $60,000 to $80,000 per profit. You never make that in 30 years.
Yeah.
With the aggravation you have.
Yeah.
So now I'm dumping them where it's like, you're stupid. I was like, I'm going to sit with $7 million profit for everything. And now what are you going to do?
Everybody's got their own game too. Like
I agree.
I had rentals years ago, and you get frustrated. They're paying late. They're doing this. They're not taking care of it. So people don't understand. Everybody thinks real estate is like their own house. It's not when you're dealing with rentals and you're dealing with people that don't care about your property.
Right, and none of them do, and I'm okay with that because there's no pride of ownership when you're renting. Especially when it's and I love Section 8 because they're paid, but they just don't. When somebody pays and you don't have to work for anything, you don't care about anybody else's stuff. So they're calling me, my screen door blew off. Well, I've had the same screen door in my house for now 4 years. It's never broken. This is the third one replaced in 3 months.
Because they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
And that's that's the part that drives me nuts.
I think that more people that need, before they question other people about real estate investing, they have to do it.
Agreed.
And you have to get that phone call at 10 o'clock. I remember one time I had a rental on Long Island, New York, and the people had come from Queens. Queens is
Right.
mostly supers, and now they're moving into a single family home. And they called me to clean up because a bird had died on their steps. I'm not the super.
No.
And I remember, and at the time, my wife now said to me, she goes, "You're going over there to do that?" I go, I'm going over there because it's less annoying to just take care of it than to hear about it when I go to get the rent about how there was a dead bird.
Agreed. And so I've structured.
And it was outside.
Leases.
It wasn't even inside.
But they cry about everything.
Everything.
But now when they're late, you don't hear anything.
No.
But as soon as they pay, this is broke. I'm like, oh, come on.
I'm with you in this game. I understand it. I sold a bunch of rentals a few years ago, and I don't miss it.
No, I'm taking the capital I make from selling the rentals in Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave. I have 24 in Florida. I'm gonna keep them, but I'm gonna take a lot of the capital and just move it to Florida and just buy and sell. I'll buy more rentals because at the end of the day, if a 40-unit building comes up all in one, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
But these independent single, I don't like them anymore. Like I have a couple Airbnbs, one in Vegas, a couple in I don't like them.
It's a hard game with the single family, I think.
It's just it's not like if they're all together, put somebody in there, pay, I get some money in. That's a different story. But there's not a lot of people that can get into that business. The single family is easy to get into.
Exactly.
So breaking into the 30-unit, 40-unit, that's a tougher market.
Yeah.
Quick break from the episode. Our sponsor for this episode is Worldwide Title, serving the New Jersey area and more. Christina, Debbie, and team are the best. To check them out, visit myworldwidetitle.com.
So now you start flipping houses.
2011, I start flipping houses,
and that's going well.
Yeah, so I'm buying them. One of my guys that we're not partners anymore, but I came home and I hooked up with a guy. His name's John. He did a lot. Actually, he did a lot. He helped. He was more though of a finance guy instead of I put in the work. I put the crew together. So
you're the hustle.
I'm the hustler.
You're the brawn.
Yeah. When I bought my first, I subbed everything out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the contractors made more than I did.
Yeah.
Like, there's something wrong here. I'm the one with all the liability. I got all the capital out, and these contractors coming to make more profit than I am. Like, that doesn't make sense.
So you started construction.
Well, so then I drive around. I go all the way up Tom's River. I bring union carpenters that are either not doing anything, bring them down, put them in houses down in South Jersey, and now they work for me. So now I have everybody in house. Now we can come in, fix them. Now I'm making money on both sides.
Yeah, and these guys are happy.
They're working 60 hours, making too much money.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting home, union had them working.
Yeah.
They'll get a call, but now they're like, hey, listen, we have as much work. You work 7 days? I'm working 7 days. Let's do it. Come down. You want to work 8 hours?
I'll give it to you.
I'll give it to you. And I kept buying to feed them. And, like I said, the problem when you're spread out like that is like, all right, I'm going to make payroll this week because you got a $10,000 payroll. I might not eat this week, but I got enough to, and then, because I know I got a closing coming up, we're going to make $100,000.
Yep.
So that's kind of the effect of what we do and how it grows. Mm-hmm. And that's the people that don't see the backside of the stress.
Yeah.
They see, you have this, you have that. Yeah, you weren't there sweating with me a year ago, to get here. So that's the difference.
And so now the construction company's going, and
so the construction took off.
Yep.
And I made mistakes that we all do. So I grew a little too fast. Mm-hmm. I took all the wholesale work I could do through the banks and things like that. So Fannie Mae, and then back then the foreclosure was still coming through. Right. So I had the California banks, and I like to do things the right way. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of banks would say, listen, just paint the toilet instead of putting a new $150. I'm painting the toilet.
Yeah.
So
it's weird.
Right. But they don't see that because they're sitting in a desk in California where it's 70 and gorgeous. We're in Cumberland County, the poorest county in the state.
Yeah.
I said, no, give the people a new toilet. I transitioned.
Weird that's even a question.
I know, but they do. They just, you've seen a lot of these flips. They paint instead of putting on a $99 new plate cover, they'll paint it white. I'm like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
So with the construction starts, and that kind of slowed down on buying and selling real estate because I didn't have time to do that. When my son came of age and graduated, it's kind of going back to buying houses, and that's when I went buying because I had somebody that trusted in the company that could do the things that.
Is he a hands-on guy?
He's a hands-on. He learned the hands-on from my head carpenter. So
he learned how to.
He could
swing
build
the hammer.
Yes. Yep. Where I don't swing a hammer.
Yep.
I mean, I own a lot of them, but I can tell you.
You know how to direct.
Yes,
you know how to direct. You're not.
And I know how to fix the
Yeah.
problem, but I'm not going to put my hands to it. Like, listen, here's what you got to do.
Yep, sure.
That kind of thing.
Understood. So now he's running the construction. You're flipping.
Right, and you know my guys are. I use my crew, and then we started getting into roofing. So it just got.
Roofing's a business in
Roofing
itself.
is a business. It was good at a time. Now the prices are so high. I don't even want to do roofs anymore because it's just insane. They keep putting these prices, shingles and things up when everything's coming down. It's they never comes back down. So when all this stuff jumped up in price, because diesel was $5, $6, $7 a gallon. We need this. They never take it down, even though diesel's down to $3.
Yeah.
So I'm totally kind of out of the construction pretty much market. I'll do it for people. You call me up, need something. Nick, he called me. I got you.
Yeah.
But I only do it for people I know, investors that are just hands off. Let me handle the job and go.
Sure.
And like I said, like I'm driving. I bought an RV to drive to Florida to take my guys down there because the labor down there is just so there's not enough people to work in Florida right now. So I bought an RV.
That's crazy.
Carrying my guys down there, put them out in front of the place. So,
Yeah.
I think, and my partner down there, he got his Florida real estate license. So that's another aspect of. Listen, why not? Why are we giving 3% out when we can make 3%?
So the Michelle of Florida,
Michelle of Florida, and I don't pay Michelle. So the deal with Michelle, and she'll listen to this and she'll laugh because I never
shout
pay
out
her.
again to Michelle.
I don't pay her commission on my sales. I pay her $100,
Okay.
but she gets all the commission on coming in. So when I buy things, she gets it.
Yeah.
However, if she's like, you don't pay me commission, she never complains, but you got to do this for free. I'm building her $5,000 raised flower beds. I'm redoing her office. She's like, well. Do you remember I just sold 9 of your houses?
Yep.
Like,
all right, let's just keep moving.
Okay, okay, you got it, Michelle. Yeah. Well, she's not gonna pay me anyhow. So if I paid her commission on both sides, she still wouldn't pay me. So it doesn't matter.
Listen, it sounds like you owe her a little still.
I think we're about even now.
All right.
But she might owe me by now, but it's okay.
The stress you put on her life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I aged her a few years. Absolutely.
That's hysterical. So now now your son's running doing construction.
So. Devin took over my construction company, and he actually closed it down probably 6 or 8 months ago to do his own thing, which is perfect because that's what I want him to do anyhow.
Yeah, you want to set him up.
Oh yeah, just listen. I teach you what to do. If you don't want to follow mine, do your thing. Like you got to fall a few times.
Yeah.
In my opinion, before you can't just walk into. I can't support you and think this is easy.
But then
you'll never learn.
That's not the sign of a real business owner. The real business owner struggled, has had sleepless nights, has stayed up late to figure out why something's not working, and missing, waiting for payments and waiting for jobs to close and waiting for COs, etc.
And he didn't have that part when I was still with him. So now he's learning on his own, which is like I said, he can be mad at me because he's not making as much, but. You'll learn, it'll all work out. Like I'm a tough love kind of guy. I got two, 3 guys that work for me now. They want to learn. I was like, and he just texted me, my buddy Chris. He's like, dude, I said, Chris, I'm not taking it easy on you. He has a toe. He works for me sometimes. When he has a toe and come. I'm gonna get you straight because you're a good kid. Like, let me show you the struggle. You can't just say, hey, Dev, I need to borrow $25,000 to buy this truck.
Yeah.
No, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell this, this, and this. You need a couple $100 or $1,000. I'll help you out. And you can pay me back next week when you work. But I'm not just going to say, like, this isn't just an ATM. And that's what happened with my son, too. He thought, like, hey, I need $5,000 payroll. Okay. But as soon as you stop, like, Dev, you got to finish jobs.
Yeah.
So now you have your own thing. Now you know how it works.
That's great, though. You got him to the big show, and now let him do his thing. That's awesome. So where do you see your business going? I mean, it's growing. You got a lot going on. And I think that one thing that's great about you is you move and modify. Like, you don't stay still, and you figure out what's working and go with it and double down on that. And the things that aren't working, you kind of move on from.
And that's it. I like easy now. The older I get, the easier I want things.
Yeah.
And I think what I see in the future is, like I said, I'm going to try and get out of. I'll have some stuff in Jersey still, but I see South Carolina, like Charleston, and I see Florida as a big. Next 10 years, I want 10 more years. I mean, I always work because I could never now. I don't even go on vacation. Like, if I go on vacation, it's 3 days.
Yep.
Because I'm on sitting there like, you don't go sit on the beach? No, I'd rather go look for houses.
Yeah.
So we could be anywhere.
Yep.
I'm like, I wonder what I can get this for. Like, what's it worth?
Yeah.
So I go out there with a girl. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, no, I'm just seeing, look. So I don't ever relax.
Yeah.
Why get comfortable? That's
entrepreneurs, if you listen to the podcast, I say it all the time. entrepreneurs are wired differently.
Different. And
They're just different. Like I'm with you. I take one vacation a year just to keep the wife happy. But like it's the same kind of thing. Like I go away for 2 days and like you're looking around like what
am I gonna do?
I always need to make sure my phone is charged because like I need something to do. And it's not even to me. It's about just. I like to keep myself busy and occupied. Like I'm not the guy who like wants to run home at 5 o'clock and turn on the TV and see what's going on. Like I
at 5 o'clock, I'm still figuring out what we got to do for tomorrow.
Exactly.
And that's the difference between a lot of even small business owners. At 4:30 they're done. They want to go home.
But that's the guy who has, in my mind, he just bought his job. Like he doesn't want to work for somebody else. He's working for himself, but he doesn't really like want to own a business and expand and have growth.
He doesn't want to keep growing. He's comfortable where he is. I'm not. I can make $1 million a year, $2 million a year. I want to make $5 million a year.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the money anymore. It's more like let me get it done, see what I can do. Yeah. I could not work ever again and be okay.
I understand.
But I want to say, listen, no, it's not good. Like my buddy Scott, who's in Florida. Listen. You're coming from LA. Let me show you. We can make this big.
Yep.
Because I'm not good on the paperwork side. I'm not good at answering the phones. I mean, Nick will tell you, I'm terrible with it. Shout out to Nick. That's my boy. Yeah, he's an awesome dude. And a stand-up dude. But he'll call me. I'll call you back. I don't call him back for 5 days. But
he gets so mad about that.
Oh, yeah, he gets mad. But I like that, though. I like kind of like, now I tweak him a little bit,
I sent him a text. He called me before. I sent him a text. I go, what's up? I'm in the middle of pocket. All good. He's pissed off.
I want to talk to you now. But
he's from the old school, though. He likes, like, me. I'm like, I could do 20 texts before I could get on the phone. He's like, nah, Nick is
and he wants to talk. Yeah. The thing is, my phone rings so much. And when I have, like, my buddies that call, they want to talk. I just don't have time to talk right then.
Yeah.
So I'm working till 10, and by that time, like, I'm going to bed.
I know.
It's just one of those things that,
I like when people call me when I'm getting the call, because in the call, like, I got to drive home. It takes me 19 minutes to get home from work. From my management office to my house, 19 minutes. So like you get 19 minutes. Today, like from leaving from here, it takes 13. So someone could get 13 minutes of my time on that one. And after that, like, my phone rings all day.
Yeah, same way. I don't have that because I got the guys that work for me calling. Yeah. I got people I'm selling houses. I got Michelle and everybody else calling for real estate stuff that's going on. Understood. So I have so many things that I get 100 plus calls a day. So my partner from LA, who was a producer, he is very structured and like sit in front of everything and like this is how we do it.
You need a guy like that, though.
Listen, but he doesn't understand me. Like he gets all nervous. Like, oh my God, you didn't call me in 3 days.
Yeah,
Scott, I got you. If I say we're going to Florida, he doesn't have his. I didn't send him the room, the car, anything. Today's Friday. You're not going there Saturday. I got you. I got 12 hours, but I get it done. I'm the guy.
We live the same
life. Thing.
He's
structured like at 11 o'clock. You got to do this. It's like we'll be in Florida. He'll have dinner. Like this is where we're going for dinner. And I need that.
But it's great when you have it though, because then you're like, just show up and go.
Let's go. But he can't relax on the other side. Like, and so after Michelle and I broke up, I hired a girl named Alexis, and she came into the company and she was young. Yeah. So I met her. She was a title clerk, and I was doing a big refi, a few $1 million. And listen, I don't want to be bothered. Just do it. I pay you and I leave.
Yeah.
And it got a little messy. I was buying something out of my partner. Like, it was a messy transaction, especially in like South Jersey where the attorneys don't do it. It's all in the title company. Yeah. So there's probably 15 or 20 properties involved in it. And she's this young 27, 28-year-old girl. And I was like, listen, don't call me. Like, I'm going to make you cry if you don't do the job. Yeah. Like, just get it done. So we're sitting at the table and I said, I was like, how much you make? I said, I want to hire you, because she got it all done with no... Like, she was a little nervous, and I could tell she was sweating a few times, but she brought it all to the table. Yeah. She came into the company, and she almost took over, like, running. She made my life super easy. Yeah. But then for a couple of years, because I say super easy, but she would, she was the person who was on the phone. She'd handle all the financial stuff. She'd handle the bank. I hate doing all that stuff. I want to be in the field with the guys.
Doing your thing.
Buying houses. Listen, I want to buy it. I want to call you up and say, hey, listen, I want to buy... unit 1H. Yeah. Give me the numbers. Let's figure it out. I don't want to call. I don't want to talk to you about it. I want it all together. I come, we sit down and figure it out. Yeah. And that's what she did. And then we had some external stuff go on, and she left a year and a half or so ago, and she went to work with Home Depot. Uh-huh. But I haven't had a person that comes in yet that kind of handles. So then I get Scott. I meet Scott, and now he's like not a partner all over here, but he's the same way. I'm like, I need that, but he's got to understand that I can't. I don't respond well.
Yeah.
You know, like
Understood.
I'll always be there, and if I say I get it done, if I say 90 days, we might not start till 80th day, but I can tell you we'll be done by 90.
Yep.
And he's like, oh my God, he's like, well, you should start here, here Monday here. And Scott, that's not how it works.
Scott, 90 days and we're done.
90 days, Scott. I got you. Relax.
That's awesome. We live in a similar world, even though we do different things. We live in a similar.
It's the same
world.
mentality, though.
It is. It's that. I once I say I got it, I got it. Like,
Don't ask me again.
People ask me twice, and I'm like, "What are you asking me for?" I told you I got it. I got it.
And they get nervous and they overthink it. I did that to him, kind of. I did it to Nick a little bit. So Nick, I called Nick down. I was like, "Listen, I got 5 or 6 places. Come down here. Set them all up." He sends the things. I send it this. I had a girl work for me at the time. She can't figure out the invoice. I said, Nick, just come down. Like, I got you. Like, you're good. And he'll tell you. He's like, I said, just come down. Like, you're good. I might not be there for an hour, but just get us started. I'll be there. And then, you realize, I promise you, we get paid.
You're the real
all
deal.
good. And because you do see a lot of people now that say,
but there's a lot of people that talk the talk and can't back it up and can't write the check. Oh, you hear the guys that tell you they make $500,000 a year, but you ask them for a $500 check. Oh, next Tuesday. I gotta
what? Get out of here.
That's crazy. That was a lesson early on in my career when someone told me, "Oh yeah, I make a big number," and then I said, I need $700 to get the site started, and they're like, I gotta wait 2 weeks. I'm like,
if you can't take it out of your pocket, you gotta go.
And
that's the thing. The petty stuff I don't like.
Yeah.
And that's what Alexis did well for me. She would deal with the people, the customers, during the construction. She'd go there
through it.
And because I don't want to deal with it, because I'm the guy that if you bother me too much, I just leave. I'll quit this job.
Move on to the next one.
I can't be hassled. I just went real quick. I went to a job. She called me. My cleaning lady referred me to a job. And what happened was the main beam in the basement, not there, and all the joists were bad. There was water damage, so the floor. So I went there and I'm talking to her and I was like, okay, here's what we can do. I write up an estimate. Well, she writes back and she says, I really want to use my floor guy. I said, ma'am, listen, I don't think we're the right fit because I have a floor guy too, and I know what he does. I'm not going to have some guy I don't know when I did all the underneath work. The show work is that floor. So when people come in, if he does it, he might be the best floor guy in the world, but I don't know him.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not willing to risk a $70,000 job with my name on it for a $5,000 floor that is not perfect. And she couldn't understand.
I respect you more for that.
Yeah, and I was like, I work with my crew. I know what they do, and if the floor's not right,
if there's a problem, you can fix it.
I fix it.
Yeah.
And if it looks like shit,
it's on you.
It's on me. Yeah. I eat that. But if it looks like shit, and he did it, he's only a small time.
And he's going to blame you.
Oh, the floor was wrong.
The underpinning wasn't right.
Exactly. 100%. So it's just, that's the way I've grown to where you used to take all the jobs. Now I think
But that selection is better because at the end of the day, you work for the people that are going to respect and value what you bring to the table.
And I want the whole thing. Like I come in as a boss, and that's it. And that's what I want to do. If you want to do it, if not, listen, I'll help you.
Foul.
Exactly, I'll help you. I'll tell you, he's charging you too much.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that job.
Fair. Dude, this was a great conversation. I love what you're doing. I love you're an inspiration. Like, again, bad guy turned good, doing the right thing. And I respect the hell out of you for your integrity and for, being a man of your word.
I appreciate that.
So let people know how they can get in touch with you if they want to talk to you.
The Instagram, I don't even know what is it. I don't even know what it is. I think it's I don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Devin at Flipping Keys.
Devin at FlippingKeysLLC.com is an email, but my Instagram handle is, I can get that real quick, I'm pretty sure. See, this is why I need a good assistant. I'm not in that one. It's DReilly 32.
DReilly32 at Instagram.
Yep.
And if you want to learn more, again, we didn't go into a lot of the backstory today because ours is focused on grit and the business of it. Check out, you could Google Devin Reilly, and you could we'll put in the comments when we release this, some of the other podcast guys that have interviewed Devin on his story and his road back to huge success. Thanks again, brother, for coming in.
But make sure when you Google me that you don't get scared, because you're going to see some good stuff. You're going to see a thumbs up, but I'm actually, at the end of the day, a good dude.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks again, bud.
Thank you.